Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. It's a regular town board meeting, January 7th, 2019. Oh, I got to get used to saying that. 2019 at 7 p.m. And first on the agenda, if you would, please all rise and join Councilman George Brown in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have one more special event tonight. We have a swearing-in ceremony. We have a highway superintendent who has just been elected to the position, and we have his designee, the deputy highway superintendent. So we're going to swear in Highway Superintendent David Dool and Deputy Highway Superintendent Mark Benware. So if the town board would please join me over here, we'll swear them in. And okay. All right. Well, congratulations on winning the election. Congratulations on being appointed.
Thank you.
If you would please raise your right hand and repeat after me, and I will make these brief, short statements. I, state your name, of the town of Queensbury, County of Warren, and State of New York, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of New York State, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties as Highway Superintendent of the town of Queensbury, for the town of Queensbury, according to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The paper, would you?
Now, okay. Well, welcome everybody. And congratulations again, David and Mark. And I think that, as we already have found, that we have 2 outstanding people in charge of our highway department. We couldn't ask for more. And thank you for being willing to do a job that's not always so thankful. But we should be thankful. So again, congratulations. We're looking forward to working with both of you, David and Jewel and Mark Benoit. Okay. Next, we don't have any public hearings tonight. We do have 19 resolutions, and I will briefly go through and explain each resolution and then give the public an opportunity to speak to any of the resolutions. Now, if you have another town topic that you'd like to speak to us about, I will give you that opportunity later in the meeting, shortly after the resolutions. This part of the meeting is strictly to the resolutions, so, okay? So, like I said, after I describe each of the resolutions, if you wish to talk to any of them, you're welcome to do so. Resolution 2.1, Caroline.
Resolution authorizing appointment of Town Planning Board Chairman.
Okay. I see Stephen Traber. He's the current chairman. Has volunteered to remain the chairman of the town's planning board. And this is a resolution appointing him to that position. And thank you, Stephen Traber, for offering to do that. 2.2.
Resolution authorizing appointment of Zoning Board of Appeals Chairman.
All right, I don't see Harrison here, but this is to appoint Harrison Freer as the chairman of the Town Zoning Board of Appeals for 2019. And he too is a very worthwhile person. We're very lucky to have people like that on our boards. Resolution 2.3.
Resolution reappointing William Bradley McGowan Jr. to Queensbury Planning Board.
And Brad McGowan, also one of my former students. And he is to serve as a member of the Town Planning Board with a term that expires December 31st, 2025. He currently is a member of the Town Planning Board and has asked to be considered by this board to be reappointed. Resolution 2.4.
Resolution authorizing use of occupancy funds toward town recreation projects.
All right, this is the town. Our town recreation does more than provide recreation to the members of this town. If you go up to the mountain bike races up in Gurney Lane, you will see license plates from Pennsylvania, from Vermont, from Massachusetts, Connecticut, all over. A lot of this events that we hold attract people from all over the Northeast to come to events here. They are expensive. There's no reason why the town taxpayer should burden this, although we do like attracting outsiders to our town because they usually bring in money, they eat in our restaurants, they fuel up at our gas stations, they hopefully buy things at our stores and so forth, and that's all good for our local economy. So, this is money going to recreation projects, and I have the Warren County guidelines. So there's 20,000 that they've asked to go to seasonal brochures. And Warren County's guidelines says that advertisement, enhancement of these projects is an appropriate expenditure for occupancy tax. They even specifically say brochures. They even go on to say brochure reproduction and distribution. So brochures are clearly tax things. They do program, event, marketing, and promotions. Well, they do that. Advertising and promotions of events is exactly what Warren County Act tax is supposed to be used for. Jenkinsville Athletic Facility events, all right, $10,000 for that. And again, that is covered in the programs that are allowed to be funded by occupancy tax as outlined by the Warren County. I'll give you the title, Spending Guidelines, Schedule A. Resolution 2.5.
Resolution authorizing engagement of Stored Technology Solutions, Inc. for provision of Cisco ASA Firepower Services IPS, Advanced Malware Protection, and URL Filtering Services.
Okay, so Stored Tech, we've outsourced our IT to Stored Tech. They're a wonderful firm. They've done a wonderful job. This town and its IT challenges are significant and plentiful. So they've done a very good job in guiding us in a good direction at a minimal expense. We actually save money versus what we would have had to have done in the past. So they have recommended that we go with a 3-year contract with Cisco ASA Firepower Services for advanced malware protection and URL filtering to replace the town's antiquated system. The total cost would be $18,558.06. That's a 3-year contract, though. And the town with that 3-year contract would be saving $4,644. Resolution 2.6.
Resolution authorizing agreement with Adirondack Park Local Government Review Board.
All right. The Government Review Board was created by the legislature of the state of New York. It's composed of representatives appointed by county legislatures of the counties, lying wholly or in part in the Adirondack Park. And the town benefits from the review board services, including but not limited to attendance at the meetings of the Adirondack Park Agency, attendance and participation in public hearings conducted by the Adirondack Park Agency on projects in state land classification under review by said agency, periodic reports on the activities of the Adirondack Park Agency to the supervisor of the town, especially as such activities affect the residents of the town, and generally to report on the administration and enforcement of the land use and development plan set forth in the executive law of the state of New York. So it goes on that they provide strong, unified, effective representation on important Adirondack Park policy issues. And the review board helps to provide factual and legal research and disseminates information almost daily through emails, op-ed pieces, opinion pieces, and so forth. So it's $300 to help fund and support the review board's work. That's a resolution to approve the $300 expenditure for that purpose. Resolution 2.7.
Resolution authorizing agreement between Town of Queensbury and Lake George Regional Chamber of Commerce and Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Okay. This is an agreement similar to what we've had all along. We have an agreement with the Lake George Regional Chamber of Commerce and CBB, Convention and Visitors Bureau. They will help promote the town through a lot of activities. First of all, they'll have material distributions, and they give a list of where they're going. The New York State Thruway is among them. Display and distribution of the Town of Queensbury brochure, which is in its final stages. And then various consumer travel events, and they list them, and they will be promoting Queensbury at those events. They list a list of convention trade events where Queensbury will be represented at those events. They will provide advertisement in the Lake George Chamber of Commerce and CBB travel guide, which has a distribution of 70,500. Plus, we'll be on their electronic kiosk listing. We'll be on their website. They also have Queensbury roundtable meetings. That's where members of this board, as well as members of the business community in Queensbury, get together, and we discuss some of the issues. What are the good things we're doing? What could we do better? We listen to them, and they help facilitate all that and much more. So this is a contract with them, and it's for $18,500 a year, and it's for this year and next year. Resolution 2.8.
Resolution awarding bid for natural light soda ash, liquid alum, and sodium hypochlorite.
All right, those are 3 substances that we use in the filtration process of your town water. These were the low bidders. If you're interested in the low bids, I can give that to you, but I'm not going to go through and read the list. 2.9.
Resolution authorizing court clerk Carrie Lewis to carry over unused vacation time.
All right, Carrie Lewis, one of the key players in our court, town court, wants to carry over 2.5 days vacation. She couldn't use them. She's been too busy. And they said, yeah, we'll put a resolution for town board consideration on that matter. Resolution 210.
Resolution authorizing hiring of Robert Medevere as temporary laborer in town water department to perform inspections for Shore Colony Water District.
Yes, Robert or Bob Metabeer is related to Tony, so we have to disclose that familial relationship. But Robert Metabeer is one of those who are willing to work with us up in the Shore Colony. Shore Colony, we have a seasonal water supply to the camps up there. And we need somebody to periodically inspect the equipment and the chlorine levels and so forth. And he will get paid $14 an hour for doing it. Thank you, Robert Metabeer. 211.
Resolution authorizing out-of-district agreement for provision of water services between Town of Queensbury and Beth and Tom Porges.
All right, I don't know why this happens. I have suspicions, but we won't go there. Once in a while, we get a lone lot in the middle of nowhere. The district surrounds it. Everyone else is a member of the water district, except for this one lot. Now, Beth and Tom Portuguese would like us, they would like to have water delivered to this lot. Well, it's not in the district. All right. Well, talking to Chris Harrington, this is complete sense that we offer them an out-of-district user for water, okay? And no one seems to know why that one little lot wasn't in the district. But it isn't. And this out-of-district agreement will allow them to bring water to that. Of course, they're gonna pay the same as everybody else, okay? Resolution 212.
Resolution to amend 2018 budget.
All right, that's the end of the year, shifting where things were needed, not needed to where they were needed. 213.
Resolution establishing position of Town Safety and Compliance Officer and appointing Fire Marshal Michael Palmer to such position.
Okay, well, as you know, the town of Queensbury becomes the focus of a lot. We become the model, the example for others. We also become, many times, the target of New York State inspections. Well, we want to be at the right place at the right time. We want to be doing the right things. I mean, the amount of paperwork and the amount of books is overwhelming. So, we have put together a position. This actually, I think, formally terminates the safety officer. We want to create a safety and compliance officer. Okay, and this safety and compliance officer will schedule and facilitate safety committee meetings, plan and implement employee safety training, participate in PESH and OSHA inspections, and any required corrective action. Schedule quarterly facility inspections, twice annually insurance company facility inspections. Be a liaison to PERMA, that's our workman compensation company, for insurance questions. Accident and or injury follow-up and planned corrective actions. We'll monitor work sites for safety compliance. Coordinate with Warren County Office of Emergency Services on emergency and hazardous plans. Facilitate AED and CPR training, inspections and updates. Facilitate fire extinguisher training. Participate in accident injury investigations and corrective actions. Provide periodic reports to the supervisor, the town board, and department supervisors. Continue to plan for active shooter and lockdown drills and fire drills. Continue to work on emergency and evac plans. Continue to work on health and safety manuals. Participate in Warren County's Emergency Response Committee. Coordinate as required with outside emergency services agencies. Complete certified safety officer training program. Make sure that all records are kept and are in order. And work on and maintain our comprehensive emergency management plan. Facilitate periodic meetings of the committee. Facilitate annual risk assessment. Monthly trailer inspection, committee training, annual plan updates, and liaison with outside agencies. All right, so this is the definition of a safety and compliance officer. So this resolution creates that office with those a general description of duties, and appoints Mike Palmer, who is the current safety officer, to that position. Resolution 214.
Resolution authorizing hiring of Ryan Flansburgh as seasonal employee to work for Department of Parks and Recreation.
All right. Steve Levering, who is the Director of Parks and Recreation, notes that he would like to hire somebody to painting newly built picnic tables over the course of the next few weeks while he's home from college on Christmas break. Well, he'll be re-employed this summer. So seasonal means that he would like to hire him part-time as needed hourly when he has these breaks from his college experience. So he'll do things like clean, sweep, paint, and so forth with the Park and Rec Department. Now, he'll be able to do that if we approve the resolution. Resolution 215.
Resolution setting public hearing on emergency ambulance services agreement between Town of Queensbury and Bay Ridge Rescue Squad, Inc.
Okay. Councilperson Switzer has added some language here that I think was needed. And the language on the new contract states that the squad shall provide copies of the actual pay rolls, which shall include paid staff person's name, pay rates, taxes, benefits for the emergency squad to be shown on a payroll distribution report by the 15th of each month. That's a little bit more precise and detailed explanation. They were giving those reports, but Councilwoman Switzer just made some suggestions that it would be better and more comprehensive if we added those words. Anything you would like to add to that, Councilwoman Switzer?
No, just a little bit more clarification, and I appreciate the extra verbiage being added in there.
Okay, and the town board told the EMS squads you have 4%. That's all. You have 4% increase to your budget. That's it. They all met that criteria. One took a little wrestling, but we got there, right? So the next three resolutions are the same thing, of their budget, 4% increase over last year. So Bay Ridge Rescue Squad, and this is to set a public hearing on this. The public hearing will be on Monday, January 28th. So the contract for 2019 for Bay Ridge Rescue Squad will be $511,947. Again, that's a 4% increase over previous year. Paid service is what's using a lot of their money. The volunteerism is down. The retention of volunteers is down. If you want these services and you're having a situation where you need an ambulance, we want to be able to provide that ambulance, and we want to be able to provide that with the best personnel we can. So it's getting expensive. All right, so that's resolution 215. Resolution 216.
Resolution setting public hearing on emergency ambulance services agreement between Town of Queensbury and North Queensbury Rescue Squad, Inc.
Okay, so North Queensbury is $334,599. That's what we're giving them. And that's 4% more than we gave them last year. And the public hearing is on Monday, January 28th, right here, 7 p.m. 2217, Caroline.
Resolution setting public hearing on emergency ambulance services agreement between Town of Queensbury and West Glens Falls Emergency Squad, Inc.
West Glens Falls Emergency Squad is the busiest of all three squads. And their total contract being proposed for 2019 is $920,844. Again, this resolution is to set the public hearing for that. The public hearing will be Monday, January 28th, 7 p.m. here. Resolution 218.
Resolution approving audit of bills, warrants of December 21st, 2018 and January 8th, 2019.
Okay, with payment dates of December 21st, 2018 and January 8th, 2019 totaling $25,098.97 and $2,249,153.31 respectively. last resolution, 219, please, Caroline.
Resolution reappointing John Heckel as member of Queensbury Zoning Board of Appeals.
All right, John Heckel got his request to be reappointed in late, so that's why this resolution got on here. So this is a resolution reappointing John Heckel to serve as a member of the Queensbury Town Board of Appeals, and that term would be expiring on December 31st, 2025. Those are the resolutions before us tonight. Any member of the public wish to speak to any of those resolutions, please signify an interest in doing so. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Ron Ball, Queensbury. 2.1, authorizing appointment of Town Planning Board Chairman Trevor, what's his name?
It is Stephen Traver.
Stephen Traver. Stephen Traver was a member of the Planning Board 5 years ago when they approved Verizon's plans to run stormwater runoff onto my property. A 300-foot long trench added to another 200-foot long trench, tied together, gone underneath the road and dumping onto my property. My property is 8 feet or less than the end of the discharge pipe. He was on that planning board at that time. He approved this. He should have known better that was illegal. And now I don't know if he's going to come forward or not, but if he does, I want you to ask him, is that illegal? Did you okay that illegal procedure to go ahead and build your cell tower up there and collect all that stormwater runoff? Every time someone goes up there from Stewart's or any of these businesses, you make them put these big culverts in or big catch basins to collect the stormwater runoff. It's illegal to run stormwater runoff onto somebody's private property, right, Jennifer? I had this with her before. She didn't know it a couple of weeks ago, but maybe she knows it now. But I don't believe anybody should be appointed to this job that approved something that was illegal. And he approved this, illegal. And that's how I stand on it. It was done illegal, and I want it stopped. They're dumping it onto my property. And the town of Queensbury has got to take responsibility for it because it's the town of Queensbury property. That road's been washing out from Verizon because it was incorrectly put in. It's just a straight line. It should have been switchbacks. Ask Trevor when he comes up here, if that's the case, if he does come up. Say that, why wasn't there switchbacks to stop the flow of the water going down to the West Mountain Road? Now I brought you up there and I showed you these large trenches in the road. And it's caused because of the cell tower up at the top. And when I showed them to you, I said, this cannot be corrected unless you change the direction of the road. And you went and hired Shazen's Industries or Engineering to go up there and see if you could fix the problem by request from Anthony Medevere. Anthony Medevere seemed to think that you could run the water down to the West Mountain Road into a pipe across underneath the pipe, the West Mountain Road, onto more private property, okay? I don't know how many thousands of dollars you spent to see if this could be done, but this is ridiculous spending Queensbury taxpayer dollars.
All right,
thank you very much.
Yeah. Anybody else like to speak to any of the resolutions before the town board? Seeing none. Town board. Any comments on any of the resolutions before us tonight? Any thoughts? Any desire to have any poll for roll call?
Roll call to, I don't know.
It's 2.9.
2.9.
Sorry, it's 2.10, sorry.
210.
210.
And also, I will not be available tomorrow to sign checks. Is anybody available to sign checks tomorrow? They're usually ready about 10:30.
Well, I've got a meeting here at 1.
That would work.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, got that. So anything else in regards to the resolutions? We have one roll call for resolution 210, and that's the authorizing the hiring of Robert Medevere because that's Tony's brother, so that's why he asked for a separate roll call. Any other resolutions that we need a roll call for? Hearing and seeing none, then let's do the roll call resolution first. Caroline, please, the resolution authorizing the hire of Robert Meadowbeer for Shore Colony Water District. Is there a motion to move that for approval?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Ferone, seconded by Councilwoman Atherton. A roll call vote on that, please.
Mr. Mattavir,
Abstain.
Mr. Atherton,
It's hard, I know, it's hard.
Yes. Right, councilpersons, Atherton.
Yes.
Barone.
Yes.
Switzer.
Yes.
And Stroud.
Yes. So resolution 210 passes. The other resolutions, and there are 18 other ones from 2-1 to 219, but not including 210, so that makes 18. Would anybody like to move the rest of those for approval, consideration for approval?
I'll introduce.
Introduced by Councilman Meadowbeer,
Second.
seconded by Councilwoman Switzer. A roll call vote on the remaining resolutions, please, Caroline.
Councilpersons Atherton.
Yes.
Barone.
Yes.
Switzer.
Yes.
Stroud.
Yes.
Mattavir.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Caroline. Any correspondence?
I do have a monthly report from Building and Codes for the month of December on file.
Okay, thank you. All right, now this is privilege to the floor. Does anybody want to talk about a town topic that wasn't part of the resolutions but would like to talk to the town board about that topic? You're welcome to indicate your interest in doing so. Yes, sir.
Ron Ball, Queensbury. Every time I come up here, I get the deer in the headlight looks from you. You're all silent because you know I'm right. I'm right. You've done something illegal, okay? And you're spending a lot of money that's taxpayer dollars on that place up there just trying to fix the road. Why does Chris Harrington, the water department, he's clearly not doing his job when he thinks he can go up there and grade that thing and not say anything to the Verizon for causing this problem up there is beyond me. Why isn't he stepping forward and going after Verizon to fix the problem? That road should be fixed, and the only way you can fix it is switchbacks. And I'm sure George knows this, but he's not going to say anything for some strange reason. And anybody else that's went up there and looked at it, walked up there, can see it's very steep. And the thing is, the water is running onto my property. I tried to build on the property, my own property, what you're dumping on, and the planning board made me do such amount of site work to collect the stormwater runoff that you're dumping onto my property that I decided to back away and not build there. Then I had another person that was willing to buy my property, but he says, you gotta clear these issues up. And I had to tell him, I don't think there's any movement on it at all. They're not, in one way, even addressing it. I really think what they're waiting for is to piggyback it on this maintenance bill, or maintenance gonna be done to it up there probably in the spring, which they hired somebody to do all the maintenance on all the water towers for about $6 or $8 million, and they're gonna piggyback fixing the drainage if they can do it. And so the taxpayers in Queensbury aren't gonna know about it, and you'll just kind of swing it right in there, and then maybe it might be cleared up. I might even go along with that, if that's the case. But the thing is, I've been waiting for 5 years for this problem to be corrected, okay? Numerous times I've been up here, and I've told you about it, and not one person has called me or said anything about it, and I stepped down from here. I'm gonna continue to keep coming up here as long as I can, and I'm gonna start going after different people on the planning board and other people that was involved in this whole thing when it got passed. It should have never gotten passed at the planning board. And why Stephen back here in the back row didn't come up here and address it and say anything, because he's afraid to. He knows it was wrong. He knows that shouldn't ever been done. It shouldn't ever been passed. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else like to speak to the town board about any town issues or topics? All right, seeing none. Let's have town board discussions. Who did I start with last time? Jennifer. How about Tony?
I just want to thank our planning board chairman, zoning board chairman, and John Henkel, who step up to the plate and actually volunteer their time and service to our community. I sat on the planning board for 7 years, a lot of it with John. I think it's a thankless job, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of late nights, a lot of paper on the dining room table that the wife has to complain about constantly. And, you know, people like Ron Ball should step up to the plate if they disagree with how the planning board is run and maybe volunteer their time. But I don't typically see that happen with people like that. So it bothers me to no end that he could come up here and say what he has to say. But I thank Stephen Traver for what he's done. I think he's sat on the board for gotta be 10, 12 years at this point. And, you know, a lot of time away from the family and a lot of frustration, especially when you have these meetings till, 1 and 2 in the morning. And I don't know, it just frustrates me to listen to people like that because they just don't get it. But anyway, it's a new year. So I look forward to working with the board in 2019. I think we did an awful lot in 2018, got a lot done. It's a great board to work with. And I really appreciate all you guys,
Yeah.
and gals, for that matter. you Democrats. And I know. It's been a great year, so I really appreciate it. I think we work very well together and got a lot done and a lot of workshops. I tell you, I'm looking forward to that again.
Well, you know, and all the hard work that you people do doesn't seem to get the right attention.
No, absolutely not. And it frustrates me because I don't think people understand just how much time and effort we put into this. They see what will be not even an hour tonight, but how many hours went into preparing for tonight. And, Jen, with the contracts and everything else that goes on, we I remember back in the days of Jim Mackey commenting that, everything's a yes ma'am, no ma'am type thing when it comes to the town board. And we invited him to a workshop, and I think he finally realized that so much goes into preparing for these meetings that nobody ever sees. So, more people should be involved in the workshops and really just to see what actually does go on, and then they'll understand that we're not just guessing everything, that a lot of effort goes into getting to where we are tonight. And the contracts for the EMS, how much back and forth have we gone through in the last, Christmas Eve? I mean, seriously. So, people need to be aware of that. So it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, I think we're doing the right job and we'll keep it up. I am worried about the fund balance, though, for EMS, I have to tell you. We've taken a huge chunk out of that.
Yeah.
And I looked at the numbers today and I thought, is this really healthy? But I don't know if we have a choice.
Well, you deal with different personalities in the world. Same with the EMS world. Now, most of the EMS people are extremely professional, but you have some that are debative and some that insist that their way of looking at things is the correct way and yours is the wrong way. But we get through that. In the end, we ultimately come up with something and a system that is functioning very well. This town is functioning very well. Well, and name me other towns, Tony. You brought it up. You're bringing up some great points. Have 3 meetings a month, sometimes more. And that doesn't count for committee meetings. And so, and how many resolutions do we deal with a month? Name me one other town where the town council people have to put as much effort as you people do into making sure this town runs well. It's a lot of work. People just don't see it. When they, like you said, when you see the resolutions tonight, it's all polished, everything's done, it makes it seem like, well, that was a breeze. No. the amount of people, Caroline's team and our legal counsel team and you people all inputting and everything else, there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into what you see here tonight. And that just goes basically ignored.
In the emails. I'm so
Yeah.
sick of email.
No,
John,
but if you do one thing wrong,
You've got to stop working on Sundays because I do my little refresh at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, oh, for the love of God, here we go.
I
again.
go skiing at West.
Yep, and then
it's
you
been
show
the
up
best
here.
skiing I've seen in a long time. And I've talked to people from Gore and Killington. They said the skiing hasn't been as good as it's been at West. It's been great. So I go skiing and then I come here and work.
Yep, oh, I know. One thing that's kind of going on behind the scenes that I don't know if a lot of people know about is a fat tire mountain bike race at Gurney coming up.
Yeah.
And they're doing an experiment with grooming the trails, even though there's not a lot of snow right now. And I spoke to a gentleman today who's actively involved in it, and he said he was there on Sunday and could not believe the amount of people on that trail and the license plates from Massachusetts and Vermont and all over the place that are coming to Gurney Lane to mountain bike. And we have an event coming on that coming up this next week that we need to keep an eye on because I think it'll be the catalyst for a huge future for Gurney Lane. I really do.
Well, the Churney Gurney has grown. It's doubled.
Well, and I suspect that this will be the winter Churney Gurney. I do. I really think. I think there's so much interest and momentum, and people willing to participate and actually volunteer. So let's keep an eye on this and see what we can do to help bolster this in the future. I think it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
So.
No, the Park and Rec Department, and with the help of Warren County Safe Quality Bicycle Organizations and the Adirondack Runners and all these other organizations that are all inputting into these events that are occurring here, are just wonderful. They enhance the life of everybody. They bring in revenue. So
yeah, we're certainly not going to get a lot of ice fishermen this year, so we need to find other things to do.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
That's it.
So thank
Happy
you.
New Year, everyone.
Yeah. 2019. Who thought? We're here. Catherine?
Happy New Year.
Yes.
Well, it's really been a very interesting and productive year. I think it's been, in the end, it's been quite productive. I've certainly enjoyed this last year. I'm very impressed with the town staff. And they've all been very helpful to a newbie. It's been very nice. And I've enjoyed working with you guys, believe it or not.
I don't believe it.
So no, I would list some things, but I'm sure you have a list, John.
Me?
Yeah.
It's
So I don't want to be,
tonight. It really
certainly
is.
don't want to be repetitive. Yeah, so there's been many good things this year. It's been a good year, and I hope this next year will also be just as good and productive.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of today's article by Ken Tingley?
The climate.
Yeah.
Climate change, yeah.
Well, I liked it too.
Yes.
But it'd be nice if, Queensbury has been at the forefront of all this. We were one of the first ones in the area to get rooftop solar. Then, building efficiency, new HVAC, electric cars, the clean energy community, and the 4 criteria that we have New York State recognition for working on them, but nothing was said about that.
That's true.
And we can always do more,
Yeah.
and I think we should. But how about a little pat on the back for what we've been doing?
And we will do more. We will do
And I know you're on the Clean Energy Committee, so I thought you'd want to say something about
Yeah, well, I see what I read what he said, and I did feel like, okay, he didn't mention us. He didn't mention any area though. It wasn't just us.
Well,
Other communities are doing similar things, and he didn't mention us, but he didn't mention anyone either, any other person either. So
Well, anyway,
yeah,
I agree with the article, and Queensbury, I think, is well on its way But anything else, Catherine?
No, thanks.
Well, talking about that, Catherine, since you brought it up, and we've been doing electric cars, and as you know, we have a bid out for an all-wheel drive SUV. And we put the bid out in a whole lot of different directions. I don't know what we're going to see. I did get an early indication of one of the winners of the plug-in hybrid that you guys want to see, and I've got a picture of it for you. This is the winner of the low bid, okay, for the plug-in hybrid. As you can see, it is plugged in into the barn there. Actually, this is one of the first electric vehicles, 1905. And they had electric cars. And various theories about why they disappeared. I'm not going to go into them. But I thought it'd be funny. I saw this picture and I said, oh, cute. All right, that's not really the new car for the Building and Coast Department. Hopefully it'll be a little bit newer than that one. But I'll share that. All right, so anyhow, Councilman Ferrall.
Yes. I wanted to kind of dovetail onto, the conversation that Tony started. I mean, I spent over 5 years on the planning board as well. And I was on the board when we approved the project for the cell tower. And I also had the pleasure of serving with Chairman Traver, who was a very good leader, and before him, Chris Hunsinger. The board is made up of, in some cases, we do have professional people who are engineers, but for the most part, the general business people with business background. We have some contractors, different folks, but everyone really does dig into these plans that we receive. The other thing is we also depend a lot on the engineers that the town contracts with, Chazen, and they do provide a lot of information in terms of things to watch out for, what's right, what's wrong. And again, that project was approved based on all the information that was provided to us at the time. I'm sorry Mr. Ball left because I was waiting for appropriate time to respond to that. But I don't think there's anything that was done there illegally. Again, maybe if we looked at it from a 100-year storm type of thing, I don't think anybody's not going to have water on their property. So I guess maybe it's something we need to continue.
Well, and we did a site visit up there. It's not like we've ignored them. I went up there with him.
And we had a follow-up.
Then we went to follow up with the engineers.
Right.
And first of all, you have to show me where are you talking? So there. I said, well, okay, where's the stormwater runout? Well, he says it's there. I look at the leaves, I look at everything, I look at the trees. Where's the stormwater runout? He says it's happening there.
It needs to be a significant rainfall. It's not,
I didn't see any indication of it. However, and the town engineer was saying that there's nothing huge here, and they did give a recommendation
they did.
Before that we could follow up on.
Mm-hmm.
I forget exactly the details of it, but we could follow up on.
Again, something in the spring, we can't do anything now.
Right.
But the report also said it won't fix all the problems.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So you could put a berm in or whatever it was suggesting, but that's not going to stop.
I think we should build a wall.
So anyway, other than that, stay in tune with everybody else.
So you're not passing the budget until we build that wall?
Government shutdown, guys.
Yeah.
We're off.
Just wish everybody a happy new year. And again, yes, I agree with what everybody else said. We did get a lot accomplished in 2018. For me, Catherine has her first year, got a year and 2 months. And another thing that you pointed out, Tony, which is very true, the complexity of what the town board faces and what the town staff faces. I mean, having worked for a Fortune 500 company, this town and the running of the town is as complex, and more so because of the municipal laws that you have to follow, than anything I've been faced with in my career. So it's very involved. There's a lot that a lot of people just don't understand, based on the operations.
I've asked one of the local newspaper reporters to spend a day with me. Okay. That hasn't happened. I just don't think they see what you're trying to tell them.
Yeah. That's it for me.
Yeah. All right, Jennifer.
I won't be long. I'll tag along with everybody else. Wish everyone a happy new year. I have a bit of a unique background because I was a town employee turned town board member. So I always knew what a great staff we had. And I'm even more appreciative and thankful on the other side because I get to reap the benefits of, even more so, of some of my former colleagues. It's a great, they're a great staff, responsive to the public. And I don't think it's easy for people at this day and age to be thankful. So that's one of my goals, is to be a little bit more thankful in any way, shape, or form, because I think we take for granted everything that we have in this community. So little things, big things, I'm going to try to make a concerted effort to be a little bit more thankful, and hopefully others can follow along. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Okay, and what I have is the town historian, Joan Aldous. Was at the Association of New York State Public Historians, and hanging in Rochester is this quilt of patches that various towns have contributed a patch to the big quilt. And Queensbury's is there. And Joan sewed it, put it together. And so I wanted to give recognition for her and her effort. And it's hanging in Rochester, or it was hanging at the annual meeting in Rochester. And the town historian, Joan Aldous, did that. You know, Lake George is lucky that it has some great organizations like the Lake George Association, like the Fund for Lake George, like the Lake George Land Conservancy, the Darien Freshwater Institute, the Lake George Park Commission. And they have a publication, and they do periodically. This is November 2018, and they're trying to make lake water quality last, and they give suggestions, recommendations. But Walt Lender, who is the director of this organization, certainly does a great job, along with the board and everything else. But I get this publication, it reminds me that, you know what, they deserve some recognition for all the good work they're doing for Lake George, and that's what I wanted to do. Got some letters from Stuart Allen. Bravo. I thank you, Mr. Stroud, for talking about sustainability and the environment with the Post-Star. This is very important for our health, our economy, and ultimately our survival. I'm happy that an elected official is looking at what can you do to best serve the people in this regard. This is an example of good leadership. I hope that you'll continue talking about sustainability. We really need that locally. That kind of ties in with what we're saying. Eric Sy. Eric Sy is the executive director of the Fund for Lake George. One of the organizations I just mentioned needs credit for trying to maintain the excellent quality that Lake George is in. And so they received payment of a $9,500 check as part of the New York State DEC grant that we sponsored, and it's for winter road salt reduction. So Eric Sy writes that the town board is doing the right things, and he appreciates our support with the fund and working together on Lake George issues. Bob Lace, Mayor, Village of Lake George. Dear John, I'm writing to congratulate you and the board on passing the septic inspection property transfer law. Non-functional septic systems on Lake George Basin are a major contribution to the degradation of the lake. As mayor of the village and chairperson of the SAVE committee, which is now going to be the Lake George Partnership, I sincerely hope that other towns follow your lead in this important legislation. Okay. just an FYI. An apology from Bill Van Ness and Beth McLaughlin that their trucks caused a little damage to the lawn of West Glens Falls in this last election, and they'll take care of the damage. Here, it's a letter to Dave Duell explaining about the damage, but it also said something else. Superintendent Duell, please accept our sincere thank you for the assistance you provided to our staff, and this is from the Warren County Board of Elections, Bill Van Ness and Beth McLaughlin. The assistance you provided to our staff during the delivery and retrieving of the voting machines during the 2018 general election. The assistance that your crew, MEOs Troy Babb Jr. and Jeff Dunbar, provided throughout Queensbury and other locations was essential and deeply appreciated. This is a prime example of intermunicipal cooperation of a county agency and a local town agency saving our taxpayers money. With the assistance we received from your department and the town of Queensbury, we were able to reduce the cost of moving, setting up the machines and equipment for our voters. Thank you. Bill Van Ness and Beth McLaughlin. Yeah, they just come right in. Well, this is a letter. It didn't get, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but Lynn Crayford. She thinks that Queensbury should have its own Crandall Library Annex.
I spoke with Kathy about it.
Yeah. And so, and she also says there should be more than 2 places for the disabled in the parking for Crandall Library. All right.
Can I chime in, John, that the Crandall Public Library is now offering a delivery book service?
Well, and there's other ways of doing it rather than building a complete building and so forth.
So they will, if you order books, they'll send them to you and you can put them in the post office and send them back.
Very simple.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me too of Teddy Roosevelt. It's the second time I did it. It's worth it. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong the man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat. All right, that's Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah. All right. Then I can't find my report to the town and community. Where that thing go? Hi, guys.
It's a Christmas
All right,
miracle.
who's hiding it out?
New Year.
All right, it's a short one because of the vacation.
It's not April Fool's yet either.
I do have it. All right.
Oh.
Tuesday, December 18th. I went to Economic Development. I'm on the board. And then we had a meeting. Kathy Cloutier and the SPCA of upstate New York to talk about updates on animal control, some of their successes, some of their issues. We'll iron them out. I think they're doing a fantastic job providing a dog control service for the town of Queensbury, and I think that's pretty universal.
John, have we had any issues at all with them that need to be reported?
No.
No. I haven't heard of any.
No, the
Caroline,
issues,
anything? Nothing.
their issues they're having is they're doing their job.
People aren't used to it.
What's that?
The people aren't used to it.
They're doing their
Residents
job. I
aren't
mean,
used to
dogs
it.
without licenses and things like that, and going to court and everything else. And that's good thing.
I ran into Kathy probably August-ish, and she said things were going very well.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Good.
Yep. Site visit, Route 9, flooding. Everybody knows the flooding around Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, it's been in there.
And it gets icy, and the state is just throwing tons of salt on it. All right, well, the flooding is coming from private property. We need to get, we think we know what the problem is. We think we know how to solve the problem. It means getting on private property, and it means doing some things, some corrective actions. We're gonna need that property owner's, cooperation. And then I went for a ribbon cutting. The Adonis Hair Salon moved into the Mount Royal Plaza. Lisa, the owner of it, and the inspiration of that whole business, it looks like it's a wonderful job. It's a wonderful place. I don't think the women who were having their hair done appreciated my presence there. 'Cause sometimes they get a little skittish about guys seeing them in that way. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
I don't know what I'm talking
No, I
about.
know that.
That's readily available.
Anyways, she's got a wonderful operation there in the Mount Royal Plaza. Good luck, Lisa. All right, that was Tuesday, December 18th. Next day, Wednesday, project review with Stored Tech. And we're having another one this Thursday, and I think it's Thursday, and you're coming, George, right?
Yes.
Sweet.
They're going through and giving us updates that I do share with you on what they're doing with our IT. Where are we right now? What are we going to be doing? What to expect, and so forth. I mean, the IT world has gotten so complex, so involved. It's almost mind-boggling. But Stored Tech is doing a good job, and I think this thing of having periodic meetings with us to give us updates, and they're going to be at our town board workshop next Monday. So if you have any questions, they'll be giving us updates then. All right. Still on Wednesday, December 19th, I met with SUNY Adirondack representative to discuss some local issues. And then I delivered throughout the town. I had Lake George Bakery make me some platters, and I delivered those platters all around the town for my thankful to our town employees for all the hard work they do, and it's the least I could do. Thursday, December 20th, I was a regional judge for the VFW, for the VFW Teacher of the Year. And it was with Gene Pierce, Dan Gerard, and Carl Fosco. And the problem with being good at doing a job, you're asked to do more of it. And they asked me to go to the state level, so I did. I couldn't turn them down. I gotta learn to say no, but it was a good thing, picking Teacher of the Year, and so we did it at the state level too. All right, and then I had a SUNY Board of Trustees meeting Friday, December 21st. I had a county board meeting, and then we had a conference call about the Glen Lake Aquatic Plan Invasives Management Plan that we're trying to put together for this year. And December 22nd, Saturday, was Tony's birthday. Happy birthday.
29.
And then Christmas Eve, Christmas, and so forth. All right, moving to December 28th, Catherine Atherton and I met with Cassie Deason and Kelly Stevens to discuss sidewalks in the Broadacres, Sherman Avenue area. And we do think there is a need for sidewalks there. What will be the problems of implementing that program? That's what Catherine and I are looking at. And then New Year's Eve, and Monday was New Year's Eve, but I was here working. I met with Jack Diamond. We discussed local issues. And then Tuesday was New Year's Day. Wednesday, January 3rd, I went over to welcome a new Allstate office over on Western Avenue. Tony Askew is running that operation. And Tony and I go back 50 years. Tony and I worked at the Gourmet Restaurant. Now, all you people are too young to remember the Gourmet Restaurant on Route 9. But it was one of the premier restaurants. George, you remember. It was one of everyone that was like special and big shots from Albany and Hollywood actors and actresses that were coming up to Lake George. Everyone was going. Well, I was the busboy. Tony parked cars. And so we became friends back then. That was 50 years ago. And it's interesting because that same year that Tony and I were working at the Gourmet Restaurant was 1969. Woodstock Festival happened. So I asked Tony if he's going to go to that reunion that's coming up. And then I started Allstate 50 years ago, and I'm still with Allstate. I pointed that out to Tony. He thought I should get a plaque, and I agreed with him. January 4th, Thursday, I met with CSA representatives to discuss employee matters. I can't go into that any further at this time. And then I had a request by the Adirondack Regional Chamber of Commerce, Michael Patel, and I think he's doing a fantastic job with the Adirondack Regional Chamber. And he wants me to go to the board and explain the runway, the airport runway extension, and why it would be beneficial to the larger community and the future, the economic future of this community, and I'm agreed to do so. And then I met Sue from Sunnyside, and you know what Sue wants to do? Talk about where are we with the short-term rentals or with our nuisance. I said we're working. January 5th, Friday, we had an interesting county organizational meeting that everyone was expecting a lot of brouhaha, and it actually went fairly smoothly. And congratulations to Ron Conover for becoming chair again for the 3rd year. I think he does a great job. And then I met, or on the phone, I discussed with Mayors Hall and Guthisle Lehigh's use of Ragger Tail and what their concerns are about it, and they would like to have a public informational meeting on it, and there were some other questions they had, but that would be answered by the informational meeting. So I've talked to the DEC, and I put a call into BN Communications, who was representing Lehigh Cement Company, and we'll probably get something together for everybody.
So if it's January 10th is when they extend it.
Well, they may extend that. Yeah, good point, and we talked about that. So we're requesting that they agree to extend it and for having this informational meeting, or a informational meeting. All right, then, after that, I was state judge for the VFW. January 5th, Saturday, I was in the town hall working on Halfway Brook Trail projects. Mayor Hall is now going to take the license agreement that we've been working on, and Town Council Shackner has been working on, and David Klingbeil has been working on, and hopefully that'll go through the city's, that starts the city's approval process this month, and we'll see where that goes. And if the city approves it, likes it, then I'll ask the town board if you feel the same. And if all parties agree, then we'll go in that direction. Okay. January 7th, Monday, that's today. Yeah, I did more discussions with Lehigh Northeast Cement Company, Ragger Tail, with the various parties. I also talked with town council. There's a little spot over in Hudson Point that's really in a cemetery, and the Queensbury Land Conservancy would like us to adopt that cemetery as one of our own. We need easements and access to it, so we're going to get that all arranged. Also was an issue, Dave, that I don't know where we left off, but Route 9. And I don't want to mention any specific businesses and put them on the spot. There are businesses in the Route 9 corridor along with that flooding area I was just talking about. The area between Aviation Road and Crandall Park. What's happening there is some of the local businesses are cleaning their parking lots and putting the snow on the sidewalks. In some cases, we just cleared the sidewalk. But it's snow that's been handled more than once. Now, most of you must be aware that when you handle snow more than once, it becomes tougher. It's more compact. It is not easy to shovel. It's not easy to clear. Well, that's what happens. When you take a sidewalk, we cleared it or didn't clear it, and you mount it with snow that's coming from your parking lot, it becomes very difficult for us to get down to the basic concrete of that sidewalk to provide a safe sidewalk for the public. So we're going to, we talked about that with legal counsel, what can we do? But maybe me announcing it will be a good start. Saratoga Hospital. and Dave, we got to get together and tweak this a little bit more. Saratoga Hospital wants to buy some of the town's property at the Exit 18 area that's traditionally been used by parking at Carl Lars, but it's really town property. They would like to purchase that because they want to put a Saratoga Hospital Medical Center of some kind there. We want to make sure that, we have no problem with, we don't have any use for this property. We don't have any problem with selling it to the hospital. But we have to make sure our curbing in our sections of it are areas that we can get to or have easements to get to. So there's still some fine details we got to work out, even though with their latest proposal. And I know they're trying to hurry us up, so I'll probably get a hold of you this week on that. Right. And then Dave Decker sent us a letter requesting, I can't make heads or tails out of it, so I gave it to legal. And then Sears, we're going to work on a contract with Sears. We have, and again with the highway department, we have the brush, we have the logs, we have the trees and things like that we bring up to the Ridge Road landfill area. And if we had all the space in the world, I guess it wouldn't be a problem, but we don't. So we got to get this stuff ground up. So Sears has been doing that. We need a contract with them. And then I asked about street lights. There's a request to have a street light, but it's not in a street light district. Is that possible to have a street light that's not in a street light district? The answer is yes. And we can fund it with the general fund. But is it something that everybody around that street light wants? This is on Sherman Avenue. And the other question is it going to lead to other street lights? Now, if that's what the public wants, if they want Sherman Avenue to be lit with street lights, if that's what they want, we can do that.
Right.
We can create and extend the district and do that. So, you're not ignoring the person that's made the request. We're investigating it, but nothing like the sign was. It's not simple. So
I did respond to that request toward, by the way, and just to make sure you brought up a good point, that everyone wants that, and if he could go around and even if he could get signatures that would be certified, said this is okay, and he's working on it.
Yeah.
You would be surprised.
Okay.
When I was early on the board, somebody had requested a street light, and no problem, we'll take care of that. And the rest of the community, the neighborhood was just up in arms. Like,
Really?
So you have to make sure that they.
Yeah.
So, and then I discussed affordable housing today with senior planner Stu Baker. I look at you because you've been on the top of this affordable housing thing. And there's a local developer, it's too early to mention names, who taking a piece of property and would like us to alter or amend or give a waiver to some of the zoning. And, where you want affordable housing, okay, it's got to be where there's public transportation. It should be where there's already the infrastructure, the roadways and, the paths to retail outlets, and it's all walkable. And that it's got municipal sewer. In other words, there's certain criteria where you would want affordable housing and it would locate. And this area would work, but it's not zoned necessarily for what this individual wants. But could we give some kind of a variance or bonus if they created affordable housing? Okay, then the question is, what is affordable housing? So Stu Baker's working on it. And then the town board meeting tonight. Okay, that's my report to the board and community. Anything else, board? 812?
Not bad.
Okay, not too bad, huh?
Not at all.
All right. So I'd like to thank Look TV, Joe Barlow, our sponsors, especially Stored Tech. Thank you, Town Clerk Caroline Barber, and Town Council Mark Shatner, Town Board, and the public. Thank you all for coming. And if there's a motion to adjourn, say so.
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Switzer. Seconded by Councilwoman Atherton. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pennell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pennell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcomed. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pennell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.